Yes, Kal.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good evening, Kriti. Have a seat, Kriti.
Thank you, sir.
So Kriti is from Haldwani, Nainital,
Yes, sir.
and Uttarakhand. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Kriti has done production and industrial engineering.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Kriti is a fitness enthusiast, watching movies based on real events.
Yes, sir.
And you have also done track and field event.
Sprinting.
Then yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So sports festival, DTU, co-head, lot many to your credit. And the Kriti has taken history.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Kriti, first of all, tell me, Raj Sabha nominations. Every party does Raj Sabha nominations.
Yes, sir.
Sachin Tendulkar also came,
Yes,
as a
sir.
Raj Sabha nominee.
Yes, sir.
Rarely did he attend the Raj Sabha sessions. Do you think this system of nominating people, when they don't attend, it is actually a wastage of the public money? Do you think there is a necessity for Raj Sabha nominations?
Sir, I believe that Rajya Sabha nomination is a way that the people who are from different fields, who have excelled in their field, they can also contribute to be the people's representative. So in this way, they can bring to the table their experience in different field. An experience in sports is not just valuable in the field of sports, but we learn so many things from sport or any other field from
No,
science.
that point is well taken,
Yes, sir.
Kriti. But how many people who are sports personalities
Yes, sir.
or they are the actors,
Yes, sir.
do they really attend?
Yes,
So, because they are already so busy in their occupations,
sir. Yes, sir.
so do you think there is a need for having this kind of nomination? Or if at all you,
Yes, sir.
nominate people, they should be such people who may be really interested. Otherwise, just for the sake of nomination. It's hardly
Yes,
any-
sir. There can be this check that the person who is nominated should be consulted if they are willing to be a part of the Rajya
That
Sabha.
they will be very happy to consent.
And other than
Because
that,
Raj
there
Sabha
can
membership is a very prestigious
yes,
thing.
sir. Sir, there can be another check that in the number of days they are attending. Like right now, PT Usha is heading it, being the right now the chairman of it. So she is contributing from her side, which is motivating so many other women to be an athlete and to be in this part of administration.
Okay, Kriti. So now you see that the salaries
Yes, sir.
of CEOs
Yes,
of
sir.
the private companies,
Yes, sir.
the mutual funds and the private banks, and also the cricketers' salaries, the actors' salaries
Yes, sir.
or remuneration, and fees of advocates and doctors. Don't you think a capping limit needs to be applied? They are beyond reach of the common man.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think in the fees of these people, it is not just amount the work they are producing, but also the amount of experience and life years they have given. For example, being a doctor, one contributes 10 rigorous years of studying and gaining that kind of experience and excellence in their own field. So we never question a fees that a normal tailor is asking or any other normal apparel person is asking. But when we question the fees taken by such people who are in a place, then it is of the value they are producing and contributing. I think it is based on
But
that.
it's very high. It's too high.
Yes,
So the gap is increasing, in fact. That is what we are moving towards. The gap between the haves and have-nots is increasing day by day.
Yes, sir. So contribution should be in the place that more people can become and come forward to places like this.
Now, you have guided missiles
Yes, sir.
and unguided men. Russia-Ukraine war
Yes,
is
sir.
also a step in that direction. Guided missiles and unguided men.
Yes, sir.
What can be done about it? Because the situation which is being posed,
Yes, sir.
this is war is continuing.
Yes.
Will there be an end to it? How will it end? Will it result into more countries joining?
Sir, I think the end is currently not very predictable. But from the past experience of various wars, it has most of the countries have gained this kind of experience that world wars have not been very good for the world economy, society. So I think all these countries may not join this learning from the experience. And for the current war, it might lead to it might carry on for the longer period till one of the parties do not give up on
Okay,
this.
you are the district magistrate, and there is a very important minister who has come to make an election speech.
Okay, sir.
Now you are sitting at a distance because you can't be a part of the election thing, but you are a watchdog. You are the government authority who has to regulate everything.
Okay, sir.
Now you find that the minister is going ahead with his speech,
Yes.
even though the time limit for the loudspeaker permission is over,
Okay.
and he's already crossed 15 minutes.
Okay, sir.
What will you do? Will you cut off the electricity, or will you do some other act? What exactly will you do?
Sir, in that case, I would like to approach the minister through some means and send my message to the minister through some person, because a minister is the representative of the people, and he learns, the people learns and admires the minister or the person in responsibility a lot. So
Okay.
his actions should be such that.
So what will you do? Tell me now.
Sir,
You have
I'll
to
try
act
to.
now.
Sir, I'll try to convey to the minister through somebody who can just get on the
What
stage.
will you convey?
That as per the rules,
You will
if
convey
he can
that.
cut down.
Wind up your speech now.
Yes, sir.
In the next 10 minutes.
Yes,
That
sir.
is what affirmative, clear action.
Okay.
My last question to you:
Yes, sir.
why is the Siri or the GPS always a female voice?
Sir, maybe the human angle to it, that
What is the human angle?
a women voice is considered to be more pleasant to the ears. That is why the frequency of the women voice can one of the
Okay.
reason.
All right. You
Thank
can
you,
read more about it. There is a scientific explanation behind
Okay,
it.
sir, sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Kriti, since history was your optional subject,
Yes, sir.
something on the little history. So
Right.
it is said that history is not past, but a map to the past, drawn from a particular point of view to help the future travelers.
Yes, sir.
What is your comment on this observation about history?
Yes, sir. Sir, indeed, it is a map to the travelers of the future. They can learn from it, from the excellence that we have created in the past, and they can also learn from the mistakes. So it will guide the traveler in both the circumstances, in good times and in bad times.
Okay, but it is made from a particular point of view. Now that brings me to the next question.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel that revisionist history should be used for the purpose of nation building?
So there can be a consideration on revising the history to make it more inclusive and to take into consideration the point of view which were left behind from the women perspective, from the peasants perspective, and other more inclusive way can be there. Now that we have
But
more.
not revisionism. Revisionism has a connotation.
Okay, sir.
As a student of history, I am asking you.
Sir, it can be taken into consideration now that we have better technology.
Revisionism is done with the sole purpose of conjuring up the past which never existed. That is revisionism, isn't it?
Okay, sir.
So can it be used for the purpose of nation building? That is my question.
Sir, I think the history should be analyzed very critically, and any such thing should not be taken into consideration which was not there. A more rational, critical approach towards history should be there to present the past in the most light possible, most
You
positive
mean
light
the
possible.
evidence-based history
Evidence-based history, yes, sir.
to include or to expand its scope and cover more areas.
Yes, sir.
Have you read E.H. Carr's What is History
No,
book?
No, sir, sorry, sir.
Have you heard about it?
No, sir, sorry, I haven't heard.
Okay. I would suggest that at least know what it contains.
Okay, sir, sure,
Okay.
sir, I'll look into it.
So, history repeats itself
Yes.
first as a tragedy and then as a farce, said Karl Marx.
Yes.
What do you understand by this?
Sir, as we are seeing in the present scenario that many wars are going on, so it is the basic repetition of history and the events of it. Somewhere we have seen wars in the past also.
That's not it. That's not the meaning. I would suggest that
Okay,
some
sir.
of these famous quotations,
Okay, sir.
you must know the full import of it.
Sure.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
India is at the second place, I'm talking of sports now, as far as doping country is concerned. And there is a threat that India might also be banned from participating in international games,
Okay, sir.
which is a country which is at number one spot in doping.
Sorry, sir. I do not
Okay,
know.
please read about that. Why is this suddenly so many cases of doping that India is really becoming an embarrassment for the country?
Sir, I believe that one of the reason is that the players are not knowing completely that which elements are banned. Sometimes they are misleaded that this is some kind of nutrition.
Misled by coaches,
Misled by
physiotherapists.
peers or the even coaches who are not that aware of the doping
But
ingredients.
at that level, is that an excuse?
So that is not excuse, but I think that is some reality that should be looked into, that sometimes peers influence them, sometimes they are unaware of the kind of ingredients they are having, and even
Okay.
they are given in the form of protein or
Well,
some
that
elements.
applies to people across the world.
Yes, sir.
And there are sportsmen for 20 years, they have been top of the world without doping. So this logic is
Yes, sir.
not quite unacceptable.
Yes,
Anyway, who's the first athlete to win 4 gold medals in an Olympics?
First athlete. Sorry, sir, I do not know.
Have you heard of that famous man called Jesse Owens?
Yes, sir. Sir, yes.
All right. Which history interests you most?
So modern history.
Modern history.
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you tell me why America got involved in Vietnam?
Sir, sorry.
Why America got involved in Vietnam in the 60s, 70s?
Sir, it was due to the ideological difference in capitalist world and the communist world.
Okay.
So Vietnam being influenced by Russia and China was moving towards communism, and that is why USA got involved.
Was it moving, or the US thought it would move?
Sir, there was a leader, Ho Chi Minh, who was having the ideology towards communism and favored communist policy.
But are you aware that Ho Chi Minh wrote a letter to the US president which stated that he was not actually he conveyed these sentiments that he was looking for a unified Vietnam and not for a communist Vietnam.
Okay, sir.
And that letter was never put up to the president.
Okay,
I
sir.
think Kennedy it was.
Okay, sir.
So that fear of communist
Yes, sir.
domino effect didn't come out to be true.
Yes, sir.
What happened in Iraq? Why did America attack Iraq?
Sir, I am not very sure of the
Okay,
reason.
why did America attack Afghanistan?
Sir, it was a similar reason that Russia was having an influence in Afghanistan, and to contain again the fear of communism and spread of communism in the world.
Please read about that. It's very interesting, and your answers are not quite to the point.
Okay,
So
sir.
you'll need to read on that.
Okay, sir. Sure.
You are district magistrate of Nainital.
Okay, sir.
Now Joshimath has happened.
Yes, sir.
What will be your concern?
Sir, Nainital itself is being a hilly place, can have certain issues similar to that, can have in the future. So I will look into some data collection and analysis of the situation in Nainital. That is Nainital stable? How many people it can sustain? What kind of development it can sustain? So a data and research, I'll go through that. And accordingly to the data, I will take the policies in the field of development, tourism, construction.
Do you think the side of Nainital which has got the road and markets is
Yes.
already overcrowded?
Yes, sir. It is indeed overcrowded. And a lot of tourist influx in this area is also
How
there.
will you control the traffic, which is a major problem in Nainital?
Sir, a more better construction of road so that there is no jams, better routing, and even a permit system can be there to allow certain number of tourists and restrain others. and some online permit system can be there on the tourist influx. I believe that.
Okay, Uttarakhand has a border with how many countries?
Yes, sir.
Uttarakhand has
Yes,
a
sir.
border with how many countries?
Sir, Nepal and China too.
So what are the problem between Nepal and China on the Uttarakhand border?
Sir, one of the current issue with the Nepal is the border issue in the Pithoragarh district. So there is Kala Pani issue, which is the territorial issue. Other than that, with Nepal, we also face issue of petals throwing on the people from other side. Then there is drugs smuggling, people smuggling, cattle smuggling, and issues like that. They are coming to our borders through water areas.
So what is India's Nepal's treaties
Yes,
is based on what treaty or agreement?
sir, it was Treaty of Friendship signed in 1950.
And that is the basis, and that treaty
Yes, sir.
is the legacy of which treaty?
Sir, Treaty of Sugauli, 1816, with the British and Nepal king.
So what are the issues that Nepal has with this treaty today?
Sir, Nepal believes, because India was given a lot of say in the foreign policies of Nepal and any other policy of Nepal. So Nepal is currently trying to be more independent in terms of its policy making. So it wants revision of this treaty, and they argue that it was signed by the king and not the democratic government. So that is another issue.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kriti, you are an engineer.
Yes, sir.
You have spent number of years studying engineering.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you practice engineering? Why you want to come to civil service?
Sir, I wanted to come to civil services throughout my life from when I was very small.
Then why did you go to engineering?
Yes, sir. So engineering was a way of, I wanted to choose a field for graduation. So somewhere my parents had this input that engineering opens up the field for diverse options of career. In case you somewhere want to pursue, and they wanted me to have this liberty of making a decision in any point of my time that if I want to.
But then why you wanted to become a civil servant from the beginning?
Sir, because being brought up in a family, my father was is a doctor, so I have seen him serve the society. And somewhere I felt that the kind of satisfaction it brought to him and as well as the family, I felt that I also want to serve the country. And civil service provided a wider horizon in which way I can serve the society.
What do you mean by wider horizon? Your father has
Yes, sir.
done well. You could have, as an engineer, also equally contributed.
Yes, sir. Sir, as my father is a doctor, he contributes to one segment, that is the health sector, and that to post-disease sector. But I feel as a civil servant, you can also focus on the preventive measures of health, and other than that, other fields of education, skill development, which engineering focus on one segment, that is skill development and related employment. So I think I can do work in all these segments through
Okay.
UPSC.
Now you're discussing with sir about revising history. Tell me how the Germans would be teaching Holocaust period to their school children in their history books.
Sir, I think they would clarify and justify their reason of doing it, that it was in their own favor. It was to bring the German, for the benefit of German.
So essentially
race.
denial.
Yes, sir. Denial.
And that's not a history.
Yes, sir.
Huh? And likewise, every country has something that they may not want to discuss. Okay. Now, how do we evaluate the prehistoric era?
Yes, sir.
How do we make sense out of prehistoric period?
Yes, sir. Sir, we make sense through the archaeological evidences that we get. Now, for example, we study how the humans were developed from the very initial age till the time their mind was
It's
fully
very
developed.
sketchy. Evidence is very sketchy,
Yes, sir.
isn't it?
Yes, sir. So I think the role of historians come into play in this field. That evidences we get, they critically analyze that evidences in the present light. So that is how they come to a point.
What else? Archaeology is one then?
Sir, since archaeological evidences are the only way to the prehistoric era, and we do not have much.
Okay. Now,
True
you know, the
paintings.
international trade is generally only in dollars.
Yes, sir.
Why do we have a dollarized global economy?
Sir, I think because of the American role in the history, their dominance in the history, America was the first country to get independence and inculcate the modern ideas of enlightenment. Their ascendancy from the very independence is one of the reasons, and their strong economy in the history is one of the reasons that dollar is the predominant
It was
way.
not UK which was independent before USA?
Yes, sir, UK was independent. Yet the modern ideas of enlightenment were mostly spread in the world and inspired the world after the American Revolution. It was the first practical evidence of the ideas of enlightenment. So I believe that is the reason.
But what that has to do with dollar in an international currency?
Sir, after America got independence from
Okay,
such a
what are the
multi-
other alternatives now?
Yes, sir.
Now, what are the other alternatives to dollar?
Sir, there is euro, which is a strong economy based, and there is ruble of Russia, and there is also I see forward that Indian currency to also be included in a method of trade.
In addition to Europe or replacing, in addition to dollar or replacing dollar?
Sir, in addition, I think a multipolar world with many economies contributing to that can be a forward step.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Kriti,
Yes, ma'am.
you come from Uttarakhand.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you heard about self-help groups who are doing well in Uttarakhand?
Ma'am, I do not recall the names of
Okay,
any.
tell me, how is the status of access to banking in Uttarakhand?
Ma'am, it is in some places the credit to deposit ratio is high. Like in Udham Singh Nagar, it is more than 100%. But in major hills area, it is an issue, and we have less than 50% credit to deposit ratio. It means that people are not getting enough loans.
How can we solve it?
Ma'am, one of the reason of not getting enough loans is the collateral issues. So it is because of the unclear land titles in the hill areas and other areas. So one of the method is to provide people with definite collateral, and I think mapping of land and clarifying of land titles can be one way of doing it.
Kriti, have you heard of GI tags?
Yes, ma'am.
Does anything in Uttarakhand have a GI tag?
Yes, ma'am. Munsiari Rajma is famous of Pithoragarh district, and other than that, I cannot recall other.
Kriti, you
right
are
now.
aspiring to become part of
Yes,
the bureaucratic system.
Yes, ma'am.
But this system is full of inefficiencies and corruption.
Okay, ma'am.
How do you think this problem can be solved?
Ma'am, I believe that inefficiency and corruption starts from an individual level and then as an institution level. So I
No,
think.
but this thing is systemic here.
Yes, ma'am. So to remove it from the system, work should be done in both top-down approach and bottom-up approach. So individuals can be counseled. There can be session. Now that Mission Karm Yogi is also an inclination, taking
You
things
think where
online.
law and threat and threat to go behind bars is not working, their counseling will work?
Ma'am, maybe sometimes.
Isn't it too wishful?
Ma'am, as Rousseau said, that promptings of heart are more to be trusted than the logic of mind. Sometimes appealing them to the heart and changing the person's perspective towards things can also work. This is one of the way with the institutional and check and balance measures are there.
Okay, Kriti, let's put you in a situation where you join your office and it's your first day.
Yes, ma'am.
And you realize that nobody in that office comes in time. 2 days pass.
Yes.
You see that is a pattern.
Yes, ma'am.
And nobody is still coming on time.
Yes,
What will you do?
Ma'am, we can in this situation put a check through technology also, like in the present system, biometrics are there and their time is also noted. So in that way, the data can send to some higher authority.
You are the higher authority.
Yes, ma'am. So based on biometrics, some action or some deadline or some thing can be told to them in a very strict manner that they need to be on time, otherwise some stringent action will be taken against them.
Okay, Kriti, what if this exam doesn't work out for you? What is your plan B in life?
Ma'am, in my interest in the sector of social service only. So I will find some way other that in which I can contribute to the society. It can be working for some agency contributing to the society, working for some NGO, or even starting my own entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur and contributing through money in the society through donations.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Kriti, your mock interview is over.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take you back to the waiting room for a while. Just
Okay.
stay there for a few minutes. We'll call you back for giving the feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Kriti, come. Kriti, when is your interview?
Sir, 9th of March.
Okay. This is the first time you have got a call?
Yes, sir. First
UPSC.
interview. Yes, sir.
How many attempts?
Sir, 4th.
How many mocks have you done so far?
Sir, one before this.
None before.
Second mock.
So how do you think you fared at this mock?
Sir, I think I did not do very well on certain question I did not know about.
Now, Kriti, your performance is good. There is no doubt about it. Your articulation is very good. Your communication is very good. Your eye contact, your delivery is smooth. The choice of words is also fine. Your intonation modulation is also good. Attitude is also quite positive, very pleasant, very a lot of poise, and also quite positive attitude. There are some knowledge gaps which you can prepare because there is a lot of time involved. So apart from the questions which were asked to you,
Yes.
first of all, of course, the history part. So history, particularly the quotations
Yes.
of the great thinkers and philosophers and leaders,
Yes.
go through them, minutely to have a critical understanding of what exactly they implied, the import of their quotes. And second, of course, is, for example, rewriting history. So that aspect also. The question was asked about Germany. So
Yes,
what
sir.
exactly you should know whether Germany, what exactly they are teaching and so on.
Okay, sir.
Similarly, other questions also, you can prepare them slightly better.
Yes, sir.
I will talk about generally how to answer questions there.
Okay, sir.
One, of course, is, let me just tell you, since you put you at ease, you will be made to sit in a waiting room for a few minutes, where many newspapers will be lying. There will be facility for water,
Okay, sir.
washroom. You must take a glass of water before you are entering the interview room. Read all the newspapers, at least the headings, to have a first-hand knowledge there. Then, when you are about to enter, take long breaths. That will bring down the nervousness level. It happens, or it always happens. And then, when you will entering the room, you will be ushered into the room. You will be made to sit there. There will be a piece of paper and pencil and a glass of water in front of you.
Okay, sir.
Glass of water, if you want to take, you can always take a glass of water. The paper is to gather your thoughts in case you tend to forget something, or if you want to write it down. So you can take the permission and write it down.
Okay, sir.
That happens sometime, once in a while, whenever you require. If you do not know the answer, you say no. If you know part of the answer, spell out that part of the answer and then say, this is all I know about it. If there is a controversial question, give both sides of it, like demonetization or hijab controversy or Ayodhya temple or Article 370, Statue of Unity, reservation policy, love hijab, and so many issues are there which are debatable.
Yes, sir.
So give both the sides, and if they insist on asking your opinion about it, then always mention the official version of that.
Okay.
Do not take the risk of being revolutionary or
Yes.
something innovative, This is not to take risks in the interview. You have to be very, very conservative. It's a very serious business. But they will put you at ease. They are very willing, they will make you comfortable. Almost 4 to 5 minutes will be taken by each of the panelists. There will be different people, from different walks of life. Some from IAS, some from IPS, some from IRS, some from IFS, some from Army, some from education. So it can be a mix of that. Then the center person will be the chairman. He will be a member of the Union Public Service Commission. Almost 25 minutes will be given for your interview. You have to make the best use of it. So you try to take as many questions as possible by giving short, laconic, small, crisp answer to the point. Okay? Do not give very long answers. You don't have to give the background. Just give answer. And take a pause, then come out with the answer. Don't be in a hurry to give answer. And always give answers giving priority wise the answer. The most important part should come first, the less important afterward. Just an example, supposing you have to ask that which are the values which are most required in a civil servant. So talk about integrity, number one, then honesty, then probably efficiency, then effectiveness, then compassion, then empathy, prioritize wise. Then whenever there is a question, try to always supplement it with examples. That will always help you out.
Okay, sir.
So now coming to the subjects. History is one area where you need to prepare slightly better. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So go through it in great detail. Don't study it just for the sake of passing the examination. You should develop a love and passion for this. You have got 9th marks. You have got still a lot of time. So some of the books which are, the most prominent books written by author, 1 or 2, if you can read through that also, besides the text questions which may arise. Second is about the current affairs and general knowledge. Prepare that for the last 2 years if possible, and try to understand the different things which have happened in India and the world. Please also understand the industrial engineering and production. That is your own subject. Don't think that they will not ask questions on that. They may ask questions on that. Sometimes very elementary question. What is the difference between BE and BTech? You see, how BTech will be useful to you in the civil services. Then you should generally give the reasons that analytical skills, decision making, problem solving, scientific temper. Because you may not get to posted in the posts which you are the subject which you have done as engineering.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, it is more important to understand that it is going to help you analytical skills.
Yes.
Coming to why you want to join civil services, there you must give very, very plausible, good answers. Normally the answers could be in this way, that it provides good leadership positions at a very young age, highly responsible position, a lot of challenges in this service. Okay, then you are a part of the public policy cycle. So problem identification, agenda setting, policy formulation, policy legitimization, policy implementation, evaluation. You go full circle in 35 years of service, which is not given in any other service. That is unique and typical of the civil service. Fourth is, you will be in a position to bring about a change. You will be a change agent. So you can touch the lives of the citizens of this country. And fifth is creativity, innovation. Lot of creativity, scope for doing something novel, innovative.
Yes.
And lastly, lot of satisfaction and solace. And at the end of it, you can always go into special assignment. You could go on deputation to World Bank, you can ADB and other institutions like that. So this is the kind of answer you will give, what attracts you to the civil service. Coming to the specific topics, I would like to mention only this thing. Number one, since you belong to Uttarakhand, so Uttarakhand, all the entire SWOT analysis of Uttarakhand, strengths, weaknesses, threats and opportunities. About Nainital also. So the religious, cultural, historical, socio-political, economic aspects of Haldwani or Nainital and also Uttarakhand. Status of women, the agricultural crops, the power position, the roads, the infrastructure, the industrial policy. So that if you have to project Uttarakhand for a tourism destination or for an industrial destination, whatever you want to do, you can at least tell them that these are the aspects.
Okay.
Uttarakhand is particularly for from the point of view of tourists and pilgrims, that is quite well known. Why 2 capitals in Uttarakhand? You see, a new capital. What is the need? We are wasting unnecessary expenditure. Then understand the district administration. What are the duties of the collector? What is 73rd, 74th Amendment? The roles of the BDPO, Block Development Officer, the Zilla Parishad, and also the Panchayat. Also understand the duties of the 5 duties of the collector. One is developmental, which is in the case of Zilla Parishad and Panchayats. The other is law and order. Third is revenue function. Fourth is the coordination function. Go to a district, go to a block, go to a village. You have a lot of time at your disposal. You will have a first-hand knowledge as to how things work there. Okay. Then the Economic Survey of India. Read through that. Also the budget. What has budget given to Uttarakhand? Okay. What are the salient points of the budget? Also understand, read the constitution, because constitution is the basic document which will answer many of the questions. So Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, president, vice president, speaker, their role, whether democracy is flourishing in the country or there is a degradation, what exactly are the strengths of our democracy, what is center-state relations, what are the pillars of center-state relations, federalism, the subjects, the 9th schedule, and Article 226, Article 32, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, everything. Also understand India's foreign policy, the landmarks in the last 75 years, also India's relation with its neighbors. Also China, US, USSR, Russia-Ukraine war, the supply chain disruption, also the need for looking inwards, that is the need for becoming self-reliant. So the policies Atmanirbhar Bharat. And lastly, GS2 and GS4 paper, just brush them up. Okay. That will probably cover almost everything. If you happen to have any questions, you can ask us.
Sir, for example, the question you asked, that where the war will go. So how to answer the question like that?
So the answer to that is that yes, everyone in the world realizes that war is not the solution, and even our Prime Minister has said so, that the war must not go on. In fact, that now war is not the method of solving problems. It has to be done through dialogue, through peace. But the present situation, it says something will ultimately have to be brought about in order to end the war. And I think there are forces which are operating. Even there was some kind of a suggestion made that probably India can also serve as a mediator. But it has to come to an end. It will not aggravate, because ultimately there are opposing forces always trying to stop the war, because if it escalates to a higher level, then it will mean a lot of misery for the people of the world. And nobody wants misery for the people. Already we have witnessed in the case of Ukraine, the kind of damage it has created to the infrastructure, to the senior citizen, to the women, to the children. That misery is very much known amongst the people. And World War I, World War II also have witnessed that kind of thing. So I don't think it will go beyond that, but there is a shelf life to everyone. And I think ultimately it will have it. You say that I'm very optimistic. I always believe in the adage that all things must come to an end sometime or the other. And I think forces all over the world will ultimately work towards in bringing about peace in the region. That's how. That's a kind of a middle path, you will have to say. You can't say that the war will go on endlessly. You also can't say that immediately will come. So it will take its own time. That's it. Okay. Anything else you want to ask?
So that is.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.